The Epstein thing, the cabal we slowly are confirming is pretty much running the country, is not a left versus right issue if you're a straight white person. If you're the straight white person the alt-right pipeline was designed for, none of the propaganda was at your expense. None of it. If you're not a straight white person in this country, you watched the right amass a ridiculous amount of power over the last 10 years with discourse that was solely at your expense. Let me explain. Steve Bannon was in the files interviewing Jeffrey Epstein. They were boys. Like, they were tight. Why is that relevant? When Steve Bannon bought all of our data from Mark Zuckerberg to found Cambridge Analytica, it was the political think tank that was the money and research behind all of the propaganda Trump used to get elected in 2016 and beyond. In my opinion, that was the start of the modern alt-right pipeline. Long story short, they threw any non-straight or non-white group they could under the bus to get that man elected. He was able to run on releasing the Epstein files that he knew would implicate him and had no real intentions of releasing by distracting a good portion of Americans with the fucking boogeyman of the day. And whether it was black people, Latino people, gay people, trans people, immigrants in general, we all got to have our turn being the boogeyman of the day, being the shiny object they used to distract you from the real issues at hand. Y'all don't get to skip that now that y'all realize it was all bullshit. Now, do I recognize that electoral politics at the highest level is truly just two wings of the same capitalist bird? Absolutely. Would I love an America that was more socialist than capitalist, if not all the way socialist? 200%. But that's a different conversation than the one we're having that ignores the last 10 years of targeting at the hands of the forces that put someone who at one point was one of Epstein's closest friends in office. Y'all are trying to slavery was 200 years ago, how all of that alt-right propaganda showed up in real life. It affected and is still affecting real people every single day. Going to people living with trauma and acting like that perspective isn't valid or none of that happened is the kind of privilege that allowed American white supremacy to reinvent itself after slavery. The Germans saw that in the early 1900s and literally based Nazi Germany on the American fascism seen in the post-slavery Jim Crow South. America is going to defeat fascism, but it's not going to happen with just white Americans. Just white Americans is how we got to this point. And this perspective that none of this is left versus right is the same exclusion of the experiences of people of color that got us to this point. And if that doesn't change, none of this does. It just comes back with a different name in the way we've seen it happen for all of American history at this point. A real solution to American fascism cannot exclude the perspectives of non-white Americans, because the experiences of non-white Americans is always where that fascism starts. And it will start again if this continues. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.